Hi, this is Alex with YayFinder, and the thrilling Decatur Book Festival social media takeover continues. I'm very excited to meet with our next YA author who's joining in just a moment. And if you haven't seen any of the other videos, we are taking over Decatur Book Festival social media because we have this great teen writing challenge that's kicking off today. And really want to, hold on, let me invite my guest. Okay, drum roll. But we have this teen writing challenge kicking off with exclusive videos from amazing YA authors. We actually had another person just join, so we had 6, now we'll have 7. Videos that that teens that sign up will receive, anything from plotting to character development, how you come up with a new idea. So we're really excited about that. And then the winner of that teen writing challenge will actually be able to be featured on YATL Live, which is awesome. But it's also not just because of the prize at the end. We really want to just encourage teens to write and express themselves during this time. So let's see. It looks like, Julian, I'm waiting on you to accept. Oh, here, let me resend it. Okay. There's always a lot of, excitement with the technology, especially during this entire pandemic, where I think so many of us are using technology in ways that that we hadn't used it before. Let's see. I may need you, Julian. I may need you to. Oh, here we go.
Hey, there I am. Hey.
Hey. It's okay. We're building.
Hi, how are you?
It's purposeful. So.
I know, right? Listen, I love technology, except when it decides it doesn't want to work.
I know, exactly. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yesterday was like the worst weather, so I'm good now that I see sunshine outside and it's coming through the window. My spirits are lifted.
Yes.
How are you?
Good. I used to live in Rhode Island where it's really dark at like 4:30 at night in the winter. I mean, yeah. So you come out, even if you leave work at 5, you come out and it's pitch black. And that's some tough times. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to be living in Georgia.
Yes. I would never, not say I wouldn't visit Rhode Island, but I can't live that life. Like sunshine definitely plays a big part in my moods and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So have you been able to read anything? Have you had any chance, just time to read?
Listen, I made time. Like, reading has become a necessity for me during this time period because that escapism that fiction provides me, so necessary. So necessary. So yes, I have had a chance to do some reading.
What are you reading? Anything you could share with us?
It's always the question is, can I share what I'm reading? Yes. I can share some of it. No, it's totally fine. I can share some of it. I can't tell all the things that I'm reading, but when those things do become things everybody knows about, that I'll talk about. I have been reading, let's see. I've been reading this book called Verona Comics by Jennifer Dugan. Comes out tomorrow, so yay. Everyone else gets to join into this fun that I'm having. It's such an amazing book. Such a great young adult book that has this wonderful exploration of mental health and a very great romance, but done in such a way that just feels so real. It doesn't feel like, oh yes, it sounds great in a book, but it never happens in real life kind of thing. No, it just feels so real. A lot of great humor in there also. What else am I reading? I've been reading The Mixtape to My Life by Jake Martinez.
Oh, okay.
That came out, I think, late in March, like March 27th or something like that. So yeah, I've been reading that, enjoying that one. It's my kind of thing because it's an homage to the 90s and, being someone who grew up in the 90s, I love stuff like that, but it also talks about stuff that's still so relevant to even 2020 when it comes to toxic masculinity, sexuality, dealing with certain things in schools, cliques, and all kinds of things. So definitely enjoying that one right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What role do you think YA fiction plays in terms of just helping teens sort of process their world? I mean, because just even a couple of things you just talked about, you're touching on, mental health and even just in these two different books. But what role do you think that plays for teens today?
I think one, it kind of gives them this validity that they don't often get in like actual experiences in the world, because you have the adults who make everything seem so much, more compact than what they are as a teen. Everything's just big to you. Everything is just so extreme, whether it's passing or failing a class, falling in love, dealing with friendships. So for them to be able to read these kind of things in books and see others experiencing the same kind of thing, it validates their feelings. It validates what they're going through and what. And I think that's super important. I think it's super important to feel seen. I think it's so important for, especially like teens, marginalized teens, to see themselves in a book and know that, yes, we exist. And yes, we get to be, the hero of our story. And yes, we get to succeed and stuff like that. It's super important for them to have that kind of exposure, because I didn't have that growing up, and it created a lot of my own self-doubt, like, where's my place and do I even have a place kind of thing.
And yeah, so speaking of that, how did you then get into writing? Because I read that you were I think a management consultant. So how did you decide to switch into writing, and specifically YATL? Sort of what was that, what was that like?
I always imagined things in my head. I just wasn't good at putting them down on, paper and stuff like that. So it was always, I think, a part of me, like playing pretend was huge for me growing up. But the writing came later on for me when I got so tired of not finding the representation I needed in media and in books and things like that. Or if it was there, it was so like not talked about that I didn't even know existed, kind of thing. So that's what got me into it. And working the job that I worked, it was so stressful, 60 hours a week. And like, that was my main focus. Writing was the best escape for me to get away from that. It was the best way for me just to dive into my own mind and create the worlds I wanted to create, turn things upside down and give people that don't always get the happy ending, things like that. And so that's what drew me to it. And then writing for teens, I don't know, like I said, I didn't have these things growing up. So I'm just determined to make sure this generation and beyond has the things that they need to build that confidence, to know that they exist for a reason.
How much of when you first started writing, were you writing for other people versus just writing for yourself, for that escape?
In the beginning, it was a lot for me. And I go back and read some of my old stuff and I say, oh yeah, it shows you were very, very much into things that I loved and the things that I wanted. And I sometimes didn't think about the grander scope of things. But as I went along, I wrote fan fiction for a while. So the stuff I wrote got put on the internet, and then you have other people reading it. It's like, oh gosh. But when you start to get that kind of feedback from others, whether it's peers or just people who just love what you do, that kind of starts to shape the way you look at stories and shape the way that you tell the story that you tell, because you realize now that while it's fun for you and you enjoy it so much, you also get to impact others. And so you have to think about those kind of things. So yeah, definitely as it went along, my scope of things broadened. But in the beginning, it was very narrow, and I think that's okay. I think it's good if writing is something that you need to do. It's so okay to just do it for yourself in the beginning.
What books? So we've established that actually across a number of these conversations I've had with YA authors this afternoon, that there just weren't the books out there that we wanted to see growing up, right? And so we still have a ways to go, but have made like leaps and bounds since like in the last 20, 30 years. But was there a book that was a favorite book for you as a teenager, or?
As a teenager, I did, I hated reading, but I did read the required books in school because, I mean, hello, I wanted to pass. So I did read the required books, and I think two of the books that I read and I actually finished, because the rest of them was like, listen, I get it. I can get the themes here. I can write you a good essay. We're done. But the ones I finished were The Outsiders, and then Catcher in the Rye. And I love those for two different reasons. The Outsiders, mainly because of the found family aspect, which I related to so much growing up, because my friends definitely became this outlet for me to be myself, because at home I didn't always feel like I could be myself. I felt like I could be this stereotype or this, you know, function that I had to be. So with them, I could just be myself. And I just love that about The Outsiders, where people can find that, where you can find your community, you can find that place where you feel yourself. And really, you know, you really get to grow and explore too. So I like that one. Catch and Ride, I don't know. I still don't know what it is about that book. I loved the main character was interesting, I guess, from the other stuff. Like, it wasn't Shakespeare, so I was down for it, okay? It wasn't like Beowulf. So I was like, okay, I can get into this. And so I guess maybe that's what it is that it was just a different voice.
Yeah. That's so interesting, though, that you say those two, because, you know, The Outsiders and The Found Family, now it's been a really long time since I've read Catcher in the Rye, but to me it's like the complete opposite from what I remember, right? Because he's like this lone wolf kind of character.
Yes, yes.
Where we won't die.
But I think I enjoyed that aspect of him. I enjoyed like the ways he thought, because in The Outsiders, I think it's just so much about the group dynamic that you get to know the characters, but you don't get deep inside all the characters. And with the Catcher in the Rye, I just felt like that focus was his story, and I could get into it. And like I said, again, it may have been just that I hated everything else I was reading in that one. That one was bearable. I don't know.
Understood. Well, what advice, just sort of, I mean, you know, we're excited to work with you with, you know, with the Teen Writing Challenge and that advice, but what advice would you give, you know, to people that are, maybe they don't have the confidence to get started? And as somebody who, you know, made that switch, you didn't necessarily think you were going to be, you know, an author. So
yeah, no, never.
Like, what would you say to someone to get them to sort of, you know, get going and feel like they could do it?
I first would definitely go back to writing for yourself. And in that sense, I mean, no one has to see this. No one whatsoever has to see what you write. I wrote poems, I wrote songs, I wrote, you know, short stories, stuff like that. And it took a while before I felt confident myself enough to show it to other people, but that's okay, because I still have notebooks full of stuff that no one's seen that I can go back and look on and say, okay, well, at least I did it. So know that no one has to see. You're writing for yourself. Get that going. And then the second thing is, like I said, I didn't always find the content that I wanted and stuff. So take that fuel. If it's that you've seen TV shows, or you've read a book, or you've seen movies that didn't fully represent you, and use that to put it out there in the world. You know, it may not be the best thing. It may not, you know, it might start off terrible. Let me tell you, I am 3 books in, and every book starts off terrible. Like, oh my goodness, what am I doing, kind of thing. But that's okay, you know. That's what editing's for. The ability to go back and fix things and whatnot is the best thing in the world. So, like, just go that route. Do it for yourself, and the confidence is gonna come. You're gonna, after a while, you're gonna say, damn, that was a really good line right there. Someone needs to read this right here. Someone needs to see this.
Yes. Okay, so speaking of which, can you tell us about the 2 books that you already have published, and then Summer of Everything coming out?
Yeah, sure. So the first book I have is Running with Lions, about a high school soccer team. It's about the stories of Sebastian, who is the goalie of the soccer team. And it's like an underdog soccer team, almost like the Outsiders kind of thing. But he's just determined, okay, it's my senior year of high school. I have no idea what I'm going to do once this is over, because all he's known is his teammates and playing soccer. So he's like, I'm just determined for us to win, have a winning season. But in order to do that, he has to train his best friend, his ex-best friend, who just joined the team, and make him better. It leads all kinds of conflict and fun in the sun, and yeah, a lot of some good romance in there too. And then the second book How to Be Remy Cameron is about Remy Cameron, who is an out and proud junior in high school. He's always been super confident because of the way everyone else looks at him. And then he gets assigned an essay in AP Literature where he has to actually write who he is. He starts to realize that he doesn't know who he is because he's always been associated with the labels everybody's given him, which is he's the black kid because he is one of the few minority kids in his predominantly white school. He's the gay kid who came out at 14, so everybody just knows him as that. He's adopted, so everyone sees his white family, and then there goes, you know, Black Remy, and that's just what he's known as. So all these labels start to pile up on him. He's starting to realize he hasn't had a chance to really get to know himself. And that's what he does throughout the book. And it's just an exploration of how we put labels on people and how we use them to kind of take away their power and not give them their own identity, not give them their own, you know, existence. And so, yeah, it's that, but it's super lighthearted, funny, romance in it, and a lot of other good stuff.
So tell us now about Summer of Everything.
Oh, that one. Summer of
coming up
Everything.
September now, right? It's been pushed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been pushed back to September 8th. So it's only just like a month pushback, which I'm totally cool with. I'm hoping by September, you know, we'll be at a point in our world where things will be a bit more under control and actually I can go out and, you know, see people face to face. So totally good with that. I promise it's worth the wait. But that book is about a 18-year-old named Wes Hudson who just got back from his, what he thought was his graduation gift, which is a trip with his parents. And he just got back to Santa Monica. And his plan for the summer is to finally ask out his best friend who's had a crush on forever. And that's all he wants for the summer, is to do this before he heads off to college. They're going to two separate colleges. He's like, okay, I've got to do this. But in the way of doing that is he also finds out that the independent bookstore that he's working at is being shut down by one of those fabulous franchise coffee shops. And so he has to now switch gears and figure out how to spend the summer trying to save the bookstore while also managing, you know, he has to confess his feelings over here. And then he's got this other side thing going on with his older brother who wants his help planning his wedding. So it's just, everything is blowing up in Wes's face. And he's just like, what am I going to do?
I can't wait to read that. I love the title too, Summer of Everything. I feel like so many of us as teens had a summer like that, a summer where maybe it wasn't exactly like, you know, you're helping them with this specifically in a wedding, but this summer that felt like your summer of everything. Of
just that feeling of this is it, like everything has to happen in this one moment, or you know, before school starts. And that's, I think, the biggest dread during when you're, you know, younger, you're a teen. It's just like, I gotta do everything before school starts up again, and then I'm stuck back in this old routine.
Yes. Which, you know, looking back, you know, as an adult, it's like, why did we feel like we had to cram everything in then? But it's beautiful too. I mean, it's a beautiful way of just, you know, having such big emotions and feeling so deeply about things and wanting to really take charge of your life and have it sort of be what you know are envisioning, you know, it to be. So
I miss those days when I felt like I could take charge of life.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, actually, one other thing. If you still have time, if not, it's okay. Would you like to read a passage from one of your books?
Yes, I will. I was going to read something from the Summer of Everything, but the passage I picked out was so long, and I was like, listen, I'm just not going to do that. So I will, and especially since it's not coming out till September, I don't want to tease people. I will read something from How to Be Remy Cameron, though, because that's out now. So if you do enjoy this short little snippet, then hopefully you'll pick it up. But the passage or the excerpt I'm going to read is just a little small part between Remy and his mother. It's just kind of like this speech that she gives him. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he's kind of at this point where he's down, he's out. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't feel like he's figuring out who he is. And she just kind of gives him this little confidence boost and this, you know, heartfelt, you know, message about how she feels about him and about life. So let's see if I can do this without stumbling, because I don't think I've ever read this besides in my mind. So if I won't miss it.
No problem.
Remy, We don't get to decide who other people think we are, what labels they want to attach to us, but we get to show ourselves who we know we are. You know yourself better than anyone. You're a gift. You're you. No explanations or labels necessary. Then I cried, but it was a good cry. Mom combed back my curls. She whispered, "You know who you are." And I do. I know, I know, I know.
That's beautiful. As a mom,
Thank you.
You know, it resonates with me too, because I just think, oh, I hope I'm providing, you know, that safe place. Like that, just as parents, we hope that we're providing for our kids too, to, you know, just safe to be themselves. Well, thank you so much, Julian. This has been awesome. So
this has been fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. And so thanks for participating in our teen writing challenge. And just shout out, teens between the ages of 13 to 17 can go to YayFinder.com and sign up for the writing challenge. And again, it's not about winning. I mean, we're really encouraging you to just take the time to express yourself and just use that as an outlet during these crazy times. But if you do win, you can be on YATL Live, which is also really awesome, you know, to be able to get that kind of recognition as a teen. I think that's pretty cool. So, well, great. Again, thank you. Stay safe. Thanks for taking.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.